Hey guys, it's Core Ross, and today we are testing some upcoming changes coming with Operation New Blood. And the first one we'll be looking at is Barbwire getting its damage back when attackers move through it, and if this damage stacks with electrified barbed wire. We're also going to be looking at the new Rappel as well, because we got a new Rappel last season, we're getting another new Rappel this season. So we're going to be jumping in and seeing how all this works, and we have some very surprising outcomes. So this is going to make for a very interesting video. Barbed wire's damage is back. So when you move through barbed wire as an attacker in the test server for the new season, which is Operation New Blood, you take 5 damage per tick, about 5 damage per second. This means a 3-speed attempting to move through barbed wire will take 10 damage total. Now it should be noted that you only take damage when you are moving, so if you become stationary in the barbed wire, you will not continue to take damage. You can also remove the barbed wire by hitting it and you will not receive any damage. You'll also notice that the attacker leaves a blood trail behind as well, which follows them for a couple of steps, allowing defenders to know that an attacker has been through this area recently and in which direction they were moving. Now, in comparing the slowing ability of the current and new barbed wire, I found no difference whatsoever between the two. Now, the big question for me, and effectively a little mini myth here, was does the damage stack from the physical barbed wire damage and electrical effects on the barbed wire? So first off, barbed wire right now with electrical effects does 3 damage per tick when you're moving through it. And we've seen that the new physical effects do 5 damage per tick. So let's give this a go in the test server. So if we're moving through barbed wire with electrical effects on it, of course from Kaid or Bandit, you will get stacked damage. In fact, I took more damage. I took an extra electrical effect damage compared to the other one. Now, maybe I was going through the barbed wire at a slightly different angle. I would assume that would be the reality of it. But it kind of means that maybe the ticks are not synced up between the barbed wire physical and the barbed wire electrical, or maybe one just has a slightly bigger radius. But certainly, they do stack, and you might even get some bonus damage in there. And honestly, why not throw in a little poison damage with a lesion mine in there too, just for the extra zing? So let's talk conclusion before we move on to the new Rappel changes. And this is an interesting one. So I like that this is back, probably because I'm an OG player and I remember it doing barbed wire damage back in the past. And just so you know as well, you can die to barbed wire now. So here's a clip of me dying to it as we talk through the conclusion. So I like this. I think it will slow the game down a little bit more. However, we all know that defenders are still in a strong place right now. And this is definitely a buff to defenders. So I'm a bit worried about that. That could end up being a bit of a problem. But I do think this is a good thing to slow things down a little bit. There's much more likelihood now that you actually clear those barbed wires out rather than just run through them. Now, Bandit, I don't think is walking away with much of a buff here. Yeah, of course, he can put his batteries down in barbed wire, but most of the time you can shoot them. But maybe put these under windows might work. You know, someone vaults in, they'll take a little bit of damage from the barbed wire and your electrical effect. However, Kaid is going to be excellent with electrifying barbed wire, and he can hide his claw anywhere, so he can end up electrifying a large pile of barbed wire and cause some major damage if the attackers are flying into sight with their TDM strategy. So it's possible that we could see quite a little shift here in the speed of the game because of this. Also, it may not end up doing that much overall. We'll have to wait and see how this actually gets out to the live servers. Also, be noted that the physical damage doesn't affect things like drones. It also does not stack up if you have multiple barbed wire in the same location, so spread your barbed wire out all over the place. And because people are considered stationary in frost traps, the barbed wire will not finish off someone in a frost trap. Now let's move on to the Rappel changes. So first of all, this is going to be a bit more of a boring segment of this video. However, you definitely should watch and give your feedback on what you think here. So first off, the Rappel system was effectively changed last season, made it way quicker, and at first I was like, not sure if I'm going to like this or not, and I freaking love it now. So I'm 100% on board with the Rappel system as it is in-game right now, and that is before, of course, the launch of Operation New Blood, if you're watching this in the future. So let's break this down. If you walk or run to a wall and you hold the button for Rappel before you get there, you whack onto that wall way quicker and further away. Pretty damn nice. The biggest notable difference here is actually on the roof. If you're trying to rappel down a surface, you will just kind of leap forward. Now, it looks bad in first person, it looks a little bit wrong, but the actual third person looks fine. It actually looks totally fine. But the first person is a little bit jarring for sure. However, it feels very good. It's more intuitive that you're just holding that button as you arrive and boom, you're on it. It's really nice. You can also now pick up your drone from the Rappel 2 rather than just getting off, which is really handy for getting your drone from certain locations. And it's just kind of nice. It did take me a little bit of time to mess around to figure out how to reach the drone in certain locations. So I'll have to get used to it, but I think I'm going to use it quite a lot. It just saves you having to get off the Rappel, pick up a drone, get back on the Rappel. So it's nice. Also, here's just a quick clip of me attempting to do the same thing on the current build of the game, where I walk or run up to the wall, holding the button for Rappel, and just nothing happens whatsoever, which doesn't feel intuitive at all. Now let's talk about the bad parts of what they've done here. So in the version of Rappel that we got last season, you kind of just hook on, and you'll notice that in the animation you quite literally just hook onto the rope and then you start going up, and it's really nice. Also, your camera doesn't go crazy, it doesn't get flipped around or go somewhere else. You're completely in control of your camera the entire time. It's, to me, really nice, and I've got really used to it. I'm loving it, and it's a really nice change. This is the new version, where it's the old animation where you throw something up, your hand goes up, and also your view gets forced up. Now, overall, looking at it side by side, it seems to be relatively the same kind of timing and all that. But man, I really prefer the one we've got right now. It just seems so much nicer. Now, I could see maybe the reason they've changed this because new players got confused. Because, like, you don't change your view, so maybe they didn't realize they were actually repelling and they were very confused about why they couldn't get off and stuff like that, potentially. But I don't like this force view up thing, and it just feels like a step back from what we've currently got. I also don't like the new animation as well, which I think is just the old animation where you just kind of throw your arm up, which is the case if you're going down or up on a wall. Whereas what we currently have in game right now is the hook on animation, and just, it's so clean. It is so much nicer than this waving your hand in the air thing. So I'd love to hear your opinion in the comments below on the camera being forced up, and of course the change in animations, what you kind of think of all that. And this is just the start of the test server. Maybe it's a little bit bugged, maybe something's not working right, or maybe they will tweak it before it goes live. But if this is what they intend to go with, I do feel like it's a step back, and the current version is better. And if we can just get the addition of being able to hold the button down as you walk up to a wall and rappel, and just go, you know, that's really freaking nice. I like it. So I'm hoping that can all be brought together to make a perfect package. And that ends our testing today. Major conclusions here are that the barbed wire change, I like it, but could be an issue at making the defenders too strong, we'll see. And then the rappel, I think we're going a little bit of a D grade in some areas there that I'm hoping they'll kind of tweak before it goes live. But that is tests for the new season, which is Operation New Blood, and it's currently scheduled to launch on June 11th. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.